It's been 25 years since I made a decision that changed everything, and not for the better. My name is Linda, and this is the story of how I walked away from the most meaningful part of my life, convinced I was chasing happiness. I wasn't. Back in 1999, I was 35. I'd been married to David, my college sweetheart, for 15 years. We had 5 wonderful kids, our youngest just a toddler. David worked tirelessly, 2 jobs, to provide for us, while I stayed home raising the children. He was never the grand romantic type, but he was dependable, patient, and gave every ounce of himself to our family. He'd come home exhausted, yet still help with homework, fix leaky faucets, and read bedtime stories. But over time, I started feeling like something was missing. The spark, the thrill, the butterflies, things that had faded as our lives filled with responsibility. I told myself I needed more. I craved passion, someone who made me feel alive again. That's when Marcus entered the picture. He was my friend's recently divorced brother, often around at family gatherings. He was charismatic and attentive, always telling me how beautiful I was and how lucky David must be. While David was at his second job in the evenings, Marcus would message me. It felt like he truly saw me, something I hadn't felt in years. What began as innocent coffee chats soon became something more. Within a few months, I was completely caught up in the fantasy. Marcus painted a vivid picture of a life full of adventure and romance. He told me I deserved to be cherished, that we could have something extraordinary together. I believed him. I wanted to believe him. When he was offered a job in another state, he asked me to go with him. Without thinking too deeply, I said yes. I told myself the kids would understand in time, that it was okay to choose myself after years of giving. The day I left still haunts me. I waited until David left for work, packed a few bags, and sat our children down. My oldest was 14. The youngest was just 3. I told them I needed to go find happiness and that one day, they'd understand. The hurt and confusion on their faces is something I've never been able to forget. I left a letter for David. I told him the truth, or at least what I believed to be the truth at the time. That I'd fallen in love with someone else. That we had grown apart. That I needed more. I thought I was being courageous. But I never imagined what came next. Marcus, as it turned out, hadn't signed up for a family. Within 6 months, he was frustrated with how often I talked to my kids. He called it dwelling on the past. He didn't want me flying back for milestones like graduations. When I insisted, he accused me of sabotaging our relationship. The romance fizzled fast. In less than 2 years, he was gone. Off with someone younger, unburdened, unattached. I was left behind. Alone in a new place, no career, no close friends, no money of my own. And the children I'd left behind? They barely answered my calls. I tried to go home. I thought David would take me back because of our history, because of our children, because I'd realized how wrong I'd been. But he had filed for divorce almost immediately after I left. He'd stepped up in ways I never imagined. Added a 3rd job, held the family together, did everything I couldn't or didn't. When I showed up at the house, he opened the door and stood there silently. Then he said, "The kids are at school. You have 30 minutes to get what you left." That was it. No shouting, no tears. Just finality. He never remarried. Instead, he dedicated himself fully to raising our children. And he did an incredible job. They're all grown now, successful, strong, each building lives of their own. Doctors, teachers, engineers, parents. And none of them speak to me. I've tried everything. Cards sent for birthdays, returned unopened. Letters filled with apologies, never answered. I've shown up at ceremonies, only to be asked to leave. I've begged them to understand how lost I was, how sorry I am, how much I still love them. But to them, I don't exist. And David, still steady, still silent, has never once looked back. When I see him at the school concerts or sports games our children are part of, it's like I don't exist. He looks right past me, as if I'm a stranger. I've tried to approach him, just to ask for a few minutes to explain, to say how sorry I am, to beg for forgiveness. What I still can't grasp is this. Why can't he see how much I've already endured? Why can't he find it in himself to let go of the anger and let me make amends for a single mistake I made so long ago? I was young, uncertain, and thought I was following my heart. Doesn't the 15 years we spent married count for something? Don't the 5 children we raised together mean anything? I've spent years in therapy trying to make sense of the coldness he still shows me. Yes, I hurt him deeply, but people make mistakes. People fall out of love, find new paths, and sometimes come back wiser. Why does he seem so set on keeping me frozen in that one moment of failure? Other divorced couples seem to find a way forward. They co-parent, attend events together, even rebuild some form of mutual respect. But David treats me like I disappeared the day I left, as though I died and never came back. And maybe in some ways I did. What's been the hardest to accept is that some wounds don't heal the way you hope. I didn't just leave my husband. I left 5 young children who needed their mother. I chased an illusion, something I thought would bring me happiness, and in doing so, I shattered their sense of safety and stability. David didn't just lose a wife. He lost a partner, someone to share the burdens and joys of parenthood. He lost trust, not only in me, but maybe in love itself. He was left to pick up every broken piece, working multiple jobs, making dinner, helping with homework, sitting in the audience alone at recitals and games, all while carrying his own grief. He didn't have the luxury of falling apart. He had to keep going for them. His refusal to speak to me isn't about bitterness. It's about protecting himself. I am the embodiment of the worst pain he's ever felt. And forgiveness isn't something I can claim just because I'm finally ready for it. So here I am, decades later, still trying to understand why he won't meet me halfway. Still hoping that the weight of my regret could somehow lessen the damage I caused. Still believing that an apology should be enough to unlock a door I slammed shut. But the truth I can no longer avoid is this: some mistakes can't be undone. Some doors, once closed, remain closed forever.